getting crazy, baby, chill. Don't medicate, just meditate. You waking up now, well, baby, you hella late. Educate, look at what's going on, let it resonate, accelerate. Find your inner hunger like you never ate. Agenda is to push the hate, separate and segregate. Don't celebrate quite yet, the storm is coming, Q, for heaven's sake. Violence that they demonstrate, instigate and penetrate the values of our country and our God is what they desecrate. My fighters ain't no featherweight, pulling out the seams of the fabric that they fabricate. They feed us lies, manipulate, intimidate through fear and force, forcing us to sit and wait till we come together, congregate, and then we liberate. Praying that you give me strength to find some love amongst the hate. Marching on these streets of blood till I see the golden gates. Troubadour and troubled souls, one of God's servants. Blades out, cut the grass till we see the serpent.
One day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
I know the truth is hard to swallow, just digest it. Suspected something's going on, but chose to just neglect it. Deflected by some breaking news, oh, we just accept it. Expected just to fall in line and follow their perspective. Don't question their objective, but I got a lot of questions. How these kids molested, but nobody's been arrested. Read it in the testament, these children are protected. So I'm fighting all these terrorists, both foreign and domestic. Refuse to be directed, blind, not a sheep. Only kneel to my God, so I'm dying on my feet. Silence when we speak, but there's violence in the street. I've been rolling with the punches, I can't take it on the cheek. Drink from a glass half full, I'm optimistic. People are sadistic, so vicious and malicious. Praying for assistance to overcome opposition, or I'm gonna start resisting and then I'll pray for forgiveness.
One day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now. We need you now. We need you now. One day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Running Bear, you still there, love? Witchy, Allie, let's see. Sunshine, I don't know if anybody's here still. Can people hear me? Anybody? Oh, Running Bear, I love you so much. I'm so glad you came, in our little circle, and we love you. You're amazing. We got a lot of amazing people in our little circle, real people. And, you know, I love me some Running Bear Gallagher, and I love me some Shameless. It's like one of my favorite shows. So I should be Cotton Candy Fiona. Yeah, I love that show. It just didn't end right for me. I don't know. I think Fiona should have stayed. There's so much. I haven't done true crime really in a minute. So bear with me because I'm going to be all over the place. Let's see, hold on just a second. Just a second. Some people has already probably seen this news, but I want to share it again. I'm going to share it. Bear with me here. Fiona, Cotton Candy Fiona. Yeah, I love Fiona. She's like, yeah, I loved her. And what was that? Slavanka or that? What's her name? Slavanka. I liked her too, the Russian chick. Sorry, y'all have to mute stuff because I get to coughing. And yeah, it's awful. All right, I'm here. I got to download something here real quick, and I'm gonna show y'all. How you been, Running Bear Love? Let me see. I'm glad you're feeling better, Running Bear. I know how it is. I was sick a couple months ago and for like 2 weeks, and I got over it, and then I fucking caught COVID. I'm finally coughing stuff up, and I finally am better. Thank God. Okay, I want to show this picture an announcement here. Look at this. Isn't this the sweetest little thing ever right here? Wacky tacky. Oh my God. Hey, love. How you doing, baby? Have y'all seen this announcement? And no, this ain't me. It's not my pregnancy, but I'm just so happy. And this is, look at that little baby. You haven't seen it? Okay, I'm going to show you who the daddy is because I cried when I seen it. It's weird. I know I cried. Here is the baby daddy. Look at that. Oh my God. And that's Bethany. Church is going to be a daddy. Sorry, y'all. But he's going to be such an amazing father. And I'm so happy for him and Beth. Isn't that awesome, Running Bear? Yeah, they posted this. Look at it. Oh, I just had to share that. Yeah, he's going to be a daddy, and he's going to be an amazing one. I love Church too, Running Bear. I do. Have you been following him and the Tom McDonald stuff? Oh my God, Church is a goat, I swear. And Tom McDonald's a fucking idiot. I don't like him. Oh sis, we just started. I was just showing Ron's baby, Ron and Beth's baby. I'm so happy for him. That's about it. He ain't missed nothing, sis. We just started. I don't like Tom McDonald. Have you followed the Ryan Upchurch and Tom McDonald feud that's been going on? It's Church has been fucking roasting him, man. The weather, it's crazy here too. Oh yeah, the Upchurch, and then Tom McDonald wanting fucking rap battling back, and it's like pussy. I don't get the hype of fucking Tom McDonald, man. He's just, yeah, I like it. I like this rap battle stuff they're doing. This Church is fucking, he's the GOAT. I don't care what anybody says, he's the GOAT. Let me see here. Let's play one of his little, he put out two so far, and Tom McDonald has not responded, and I think it's fucking funny. Let's see. Hold on, that's the second one there. go. Shit. Okay, yeah, that's the second one. Like, I'm not no reactor or nothing. Just a second. Hold on, let me see. Oh, of course, sis. Yes, of course. You might have to call me or text me and remind me. Yes, absolutely. Are you going live tonight? Sure. Hey, Lisa. I ain't gonna do this up church thing yet. I'm gonna get back on schedule here. I don't even know. I got a few things I wanna. Let's see. What do I want to play? That's a really good one. Okay. Did any of y'all follow the Rachel Morin case? Morin or the girl that went jogging and lost her life. Let's start off with that. I'm gonna play this here. This channel is called The Mob Crew. If someone can drop the links for it here, and I'll drop the link for this this video I'm getting ready to play of theirs. So I'm a little behind on true crime, but some stuff I am interested in still. Okay. Tomorrow, okay. Well, sis, we can talk later if you want. Okay, here is the link to this that I'm getting ready to play. I actually just found this channel and it seems pretty good. Okay, here we go.
The search for a missing woman in Harford County may have come to an end this afternoon. The Harford County Sheriff's Department found the body of a woman in Bel Air at a local trail. WMAR 2 News' Janae Wright is on the scene right now. Janae, what information can you tell us?
So we're hoping people will take a close look at it.
This suspect caught on video in LA after police say it appears he randomly committed a home invasion and assaulted a young woman inside the home in March. Watch as he leaves. A hand appears closing the door behind him. This is the man deputies believe murdered Rachel because they found his DNA at both crime scenes.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody, where we cover true crime, mystery to the missing. Back on August 5th of 2023, Rachel Morin went for her usual walk at the Ma and Pa Trail in Bel Air, Maryland, during the evening. After not returning later that evening, her boyfriend had called to report her missing. That next day, locals went out to search for Rachel, and sadly, Rachel, who was just 37 years old and a mother of 5, would be found brutally murdered. She was found naked and severely beaten. The monster responsible for her demise had not been identified.
The search for a missing woman in Harford County may have come to an end this afternoon. The Harford County Sheriff's Department found the body of a woman in Bel Air at a local trail. WMAR 2 News' Janae Wright is on the scene right now.
Mallory, honestly, we have limited information at this time. What we do know is that a search was being conducted for a missing woman in the area, the woman by the name of Rachel Morin. Now, at around 1:07 p.m. today, a woman's body was located off of the Ma and Pa Trail in Bel Air. So far, the sheriff's office has said the cause of death and the identity of the woman's body is still being investigated. The sheriff's office was initially conducting a search after reporting 37-year-old Rachel Morin was missing around 6 p.m. last night.
Almost 2 weeks later, the media would be notified that DNA found at Rachel Morin's crime scene had been a match to a crime that took place nearly 6 months prior in March, all the way across the U.S. in Los Angeles, California, during a separate incident. The public also got a look at some door cam footage from that incident that took place months prior, where we see the suspect exiting a home in Los Angeles. All we knew at the time is that this was some kind of home invasion that took place, and that this suspect was the same one who was responsible for Rachel Morin's grisly homicide.
The victim or someone else who was there during the attack. This is the man deputies believe murdered Rachel because they found his DNA at both crime scenes.
But what the public didn't know at the time is what exactly went down at the home in Los Angeles. But nearly 6 months later, Harford County Sheriff's Office released new details regarding that incident that happened in Los Angeles, as well as releasing a new sketch to the public of the suspect believed to be responsible for both incidences. So we are going to dive deeper into what happened in March of 2023 at the home in Los Angeles and how they connected it to Rachel Morin's homicide and how the public can help. We will be taking clips from a podcast from the local law enforcement, which share new details in the 2 cases.
We think, we know there's people out there who still need to be caught up. So a little bit about what happened 6 months ago.
Yes, sir. So the sheriff's office began this investigation when we received a phone call about a missing mother, that she had gone for a run that evening and she didn't return. Her children, who were younger children, one of them a teenager and the other one under that age, were left at home, and that wasn't like her. She normally would leave for a run in the evenings and be home within 45 minutes. So when she didn't return, a friend of hers called the sheriff's office and said that they were concerned for her well-being and they didn't know where she was. The sheriff's office, of course, started looking right away and tried to find Miss Morin. And what they located right away was Rachel's vehicle at a trailhead along a popular trail here in Harford County called the Ma and Pa Trail. At this point, it was probably about later evening, 10 o'clock in the evening, and it was concerning that her vehicle would still be there because although she frequently ran that trail, she would not have been there that late into the evening. So that began a large-scale search through the Ma and Pa Trail and the surrounding area, which ultimately, unfortunately, led to the discovery the following morning of Rachel's remains.
And I remember that day, obviously.
Off to along the side of this trail, there are 2 large drainage culverts that run under a local highway. Those drainage culverts are hidden during the summertime by trees and shrubbery, and aren't something that most people would see. I myself have been down that trail many times, and I wasn't aware that those culverts were there. In this instance, we could see from the scene that Rachel was ultimately attacked on the trail. That area of the trail, there was a bend in the trail that most likely was used by the individual who committed this crime, who attacked Rachel on the trail, pulled her through the wooded area into this drainage culvert, where she ultimately lost her life.
There's a little bit of information we've kind of held close to the chest, if you will, that we haven't released as far as what the actual location of the homicide was. So we are, as we hit the 6 month mark.
Specifically, which was a home invasion, is how I would describe it right now. And in that instance, that suspect left behind a hat, and that hat was collected by the Los Angeles Police Department, and DNA was located on that hat, and that DNA was entered into CODIS. When we entered our sample in from our crime scene, those 2 matched. So that allowed us ultimately to be able to recover video evidence that showed us who our suspect was, which we hadn't seen and allowed us to link two crimes that occurred on opposite sides of the country.
And I do believe that's another specific piece of information that we kind of not been, that we have not released previously, as far as it being a hat that we released that before.
We have publicly commented on that. Yes.
Okay. And I knew that the public knew that we had recovered DNA, or I should say, Los Angeles Police Department recovered DNA. Can you tell us more about what happened in Los Angeles? And that is not our investigation, and we certainly cannot speak on behalf of the Los Angeles Police Department. But as you said earlier, that's an active investigation by that police department. So we've been, I guess, limited in what we are going to say or should say, since another police department has a serious crime that they are also investigating. But what can you share? Obviously, the video came from there. What else can you share about that scene out there?
That crime that occurred there was also a violent attack. There's nothing that we know right now that would point us to the belief that it was anything other than a random attack. There were multiple people within that home who were injured, and there were minor children who were injured as well in that attack. I think that case, along with this case, highlight how dangerous this individual is and how important it is to locate him.
Okay. So go on a little bit with what we can discuss from that crime scene in Los Angeles. Is there more that we can speak about?
I think we could say that I think people who have seen the video we released, which is obviously from Los Angeles, this individual approached a residence in the city of Los Angeles and entered that residence. He didn't live there. He was not known to the residents. And after entering the home, I don't want to get into a whole lot of details other than to say that he violently and physically attacked multiple people, to include a child, that were hurt during that incident. And that, again, I think it just goes to the dangerousness and the need for us to be able to track this person down before we harm someone else.
And this is something else that I get a lot of questions about, and have spoken about the escalation from what happened there in March. Again, we don't know whether he's there, where he might lay his head at night, but we do know from March till August, he certainly escalated in violence and moving from assault, even serious, but to taking a life. The other questions I get related to Los Angeles and the cameras themselves are kind of twofold, and maybe I'll throw them both out there and see what you say. Because one is we have the video footage of the Ring doorbell camera of him departing, and the manner in which he departs, which does not seem in most people's views to be the way that someone found in your home illegally assaulting people would be exiting a residence. And if we have him going out, why don't we have him coming in? And when I say we, again, that's the Los Angeles crime scene.
Yes, sir. The reason you can't see him entering the home is because the doorbell camera, obviously, like we all have these doorbell cameras now in modern society, are only placed on generally the area of the front door. Without going into how this gentleman entered the home or the suspect entered the home, he did not enter through the front door and wouldn't have been captured by the doorbell camera. As far as the manner in which he exited the house, we've received comments through tip lines about that too. And I think we all have to take a step back sometimes and realize that this person entered a home. He, in the middle of the night, violently attacked a family, and that family reacted. They were scared. There was a lot of yelling going around at the time, and they forced him from the home. I think people oftentimes believe that this family should have held this person there, or they should have, in some way tried to stop him. And I think that's not always possible. And that this attack was stopped by a member of that family, who I think acted in the best interest of everyone there and did everything that he could do to get that person out of the home. And ultimately, I think, although he did escalate his crime, as we were just saying, between here in Maryland and in California, I think had that crime not been interrupted in California, it most likely would have ended the exact same way our crime ended here.
That's right.
The arm in the video is the suspect, when he's in the home, winds up assaulting two family members who were unable to defend themselves. A third family member, who is a younger person, enters that room and manages to surprise the suspect and begin to force him out of the home. As the suspect flees the home, this individual, who is frightened and is scared and is a younger person and doesn't understand why someone's in his home attacking his family members, the suspect, other people in the home begin to wake up. And he realizes now that there's multiple people in the home. They're yelling at him. He's trying to just exit the home. So as soon as he leaves the door, that younger person who actually interrupted the crime scene slams the door shut and locks it, and then immediately calls the police. So again, we've heard this a lot too, and I understand people are trying to help, but it's a difficult situation that young man went through. And I think he did everything he could to try to protect his family, and he just wanted the suspect out of his home. And then as soon as he left, locked the door and called the police for assistance. So what the suspect looks like. So in order to get the best quality we could, we utilized witnesses in California who were assaulted by the suspects. We used witnesses here in Harford County And then we also used one artist to combine all to interview each one of these people, and then that same artist to look at our video and be able to try to put all of that together to give us the closest that we could possibly get to what the suspect looks like. And then after that, we took that sketch and we talked to other witnesses who didn't maybe see the person as well and weren't confident in making a sketch, but did see the person, and asked them, does this sketch look like the suspect that you saw? So that we were sure that we had as large a group as possible who knew saw this person look at this sketch and say, yes, this is similar to what the person I saw looks like.
And a great way to get the public involved in catching this predator is to share this video and the information. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Please share your
That's interesting. To me, it is. If anyone followed this case, it's sad and it's crazy that they got DNA and stuff and they can't find this guy. But it makes you wonder, is he doing this? It's the second time. He's probably done more. He'll probably do it again. Is he leaving? Because he's left DNA at both crime scenes. Is he an illegal immigrant? They don't know him. You know what I'm saying? Could that be the case? Hey, One Love, good to see you. For real, it's really good to see you. Always a pleasure. And Chicken Lady, of course. Yeah, they thought it was her boyfriend, yeah. And her crazy ex, jealous ex, or whatever. And I don't know, there's just something odd about this because this guy is careless and left DNA at both crime scenes. And, you know, is he even registered in the United States? Does that make sense? Ah, One Love. Sorry you can't hear. I'm talking to you and you can't hear. This happened last year. Chicken Lady, do you remember exactly when? It was last year. 6 months ago, I think. No, I don't remember. Yeah. Right, Ren and Bear. It could be an immigrant. Let's see here. When was it? It was August 5th when it happened. She's 37 years old. And then 6 months prior to that, he had a similar situation in California. Six months, Lisa. 6 months. And that was in California, and then this one here happened in Maryland. Clear across the country. Is that crazy? I want to show y'all a picture. Does anyone knows whose house this is? No, I'm not doxing anybody or anything, but yeah, Chicken Lady, so many things happened last year. Yes, Chicken Lady. Let's see who else. I knew you would know. A lot of people probably went around for that, but yeah. Ain't that crazy, the difference? Honestly, I think I liked it the other way. All right, so this house is the Chris Watts house. It was sold to a family, and it's the Chris Watts house. Isn't that crazy? Yes, Wacky. The Watts house. This picture, I just seen it the other day, and I was like, wow. Yeah, sorry. That damn COVID's about to kick my ass. Right, One Love? It don't even look like the same house, does it? Crazy. Just a second here. I think I got something else on this case here. Oh, shit. This is just News Nation on the same case here. I know you wouldn't really recognize the home. Like, if I'd seen it, I wouldn't have recognized it being the Watts house. And I followed the Watts case years. That's how I met Cher. Okay, here's one more on this Rachel.
Well, joining us now is Harford County Sheriff Jeff Gaylor, whose department in Maryland released those new sketches. Sheriff, so great to talk to you again. At this point in the investigation, it's now been months since her body was discovered. Why these new sketches now?
Well, last week, sadly, we marked the 6-month anniversary since Rachel's homicide. And investigators we're still following the leads, but obviously over the course of 6 months, the leads have slowed down. So investigators are working back through every lead, every piece of information, every investigative lead that we can to date. And one of the things are what is it that we've kind of held close to our vest for investigative purposes that maybe we can put out there. We released a couple additional pieces of information related to it. But the big thing was the composite. And from early on, people asked us about why there wasn't a composite. Several have been worked on, but at no point in time did we have one where the people who were involved in the incident in Los Angeles 6 months earlier and the people, witnesses that we have here in Harford County who saw a suspicious subject in the days and hours leading up to Rachel's death along the hiking trail, all look at the sketch that we have completed now and say that it is a very good rendering, a accurate rendering of our suspect. So obviously that's the best piece that we've had to push forward since the video. A lot of people have asked why we don't release the video of him coming into the house and showing the front view. It's because there is not one that we have. So this sketch hopefully will be the trigger we need, and that hat I think is key. That is the Air Jordan hat that he had on in Los Angeles in March of last year when he committed the home invasion.
Okay, so he left his hat at the Los Angeles, California scene. I wonder what DNA they have from Rachel. He does look young. I wonder, though, what DNA they got from Rachel. Like, I don't know. Did he SA her or anything? You know what I mean? Or because we're just now finding out about this hat. That's how they have his DNA from that. See how careless, though, he is, that he just leaves DNA and stuff, these scenes? I think he's an illegal, in my opinion. Or something.
Invasion there and the violence there, and it was recovered and the DNA was pulled from it.
You know, and Sheriff, I do want to talk about that video of that assault in California. If we can roll that, because we have these new sketches that your department has released. We know the suspect is linked to a sexual assault in California, but let's take a look at this video. So we see this suspect leave the house. The door was open for a moment, and then it closes. Have investigators in California been able to provide any new information?
Well, and our investigators have been working closely with the investigators out there in Los Angeles. I have to be clear that is their crime. It's an active investigation, and I don't believe anywhere in any of the releases so far it's been classified as anything other than assault. So, a lot of people are asking, was there a sexual assault? I know we haven't released any information one way or the other here in Harford County, and I don't believe they have either. But there was an assault within that residence of multiple people by that individual. And there were several people in that house at the time of the assault. And again, with the composite, although you don't get a good look at him coming out the door, those witnesses have looked at the image we've released and said it is an accurate portrayal of the person who committed the home invasion there.
And people certainly are innocent until proven guilty, but many times when a woman is murdered, immediately fingers point at a boyfriend, a husband, a loved one. We know that her boyfriend does have some criminal history. Has Rachel's boyfriend been fully cleared?
Well, I've said investigators are not focused on him. That this DNA ties that subject directly to Rachel's homicide. That's who we're looking for. That he was involved in her death. Will we ever know without apprehending him if others were involved? I don't want to say anyone is excluded completely until we have that individual in custody and we've had an opportunity to talk to him and he faces a criminal justice system. But again, her boyfriend, has cooperated fully with this investigation, has given, stories that have been verified. So again, I wouldn't list him as even a potential suspect at this time, but I'm not willing to say anybody on this planet didn't contribute to this until we have him in custody.
Yeah, and I want to, just reiterate what you just said, that the boyfriend has fully cooperated. Sheriff, I know you have said you believe this culprit could be a serial killer. You said that in the past. Do you still think that could be a reality?
Sure, and again, we're not free to talk about what happened in Los Angeles, but I do think had he had more opportunity there, it would have been a worse crime scene there, similar to what we are investigating in Rachel's case. And no people, no individuals here, there, or anywhere deserve their life to be ended in such a way. Rachel was a young mom, 5 children, mom, sister, brother, still, and looking for answers, looking for this person. I have no doubt in my mind. I've been doing this 40 years. If this guy is not caught, he will do it again.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation.
Right, I agree. He'll do it again, if not already. And wouldn't surprise me if there was more between these, before Rachel and after the one in LA. Okay, that's about all I got on that because there really ain't much. But okay, has anybody been following the Royal Caribbean World Cruise, where those people were on the boat traveling the world for 9 months? Is anybody following that? I have been on TikTok. But I was going to share this. It's just a little clip. Nobody probably knows, but it's kind of sad. You're just not hearing about it. Yeah, I got in the rabbit hole on TikTok, and they're on this boat for 9 months, and there's been some drama and tea, and yeah. But I'm going to share this little snippet.
The Serenade of the Seas is facing a tragedy. A passenger aboard the Royal Caribbean 9-month-long cruise, known as the Ultimate World Cruise, has died, the company confirms on February 12th. Royal Caribbean says in a statement to People, quote, "We are actively providing support and assistance to the guests' loved ones at this time. Out of the privacy of the guest and their family, we have nothing further to share at this time." E! News has reached out to Royal Caribbean for comment but has not yet heard back. A TikToker who goes by Adida originally shares the news in a since-deleted video. She says in her February 11th video per People, quote, "A lady passed away last night. She was an elderly lady, and the reason why I know is because I was coming to my room when they were taking the body out." In December of 2023, the Serenade of the Seas, which quickly became a viral sensation, embarked on its 274-night voyage, with tickets reportedly sold for over $53,000. The World Cruise journey is divided into 4 main segments, with the first leg traveling throughout the Americas, then the Pacific, into the Middle East and the Mediterranean Ocean, and finally throughout Europe, giving passengers the option to join for the entire journey or only part of the voyage.
I just wanted to share that because it's kind of sad, you know. It really is. Yeah, it's real big on TikTok. You can follow on there. I went on a cruise once and it was the best vacation ever. Okay, let's see here. What else do I got? Okay, East Palestine, the train derailment. I covered that one. Yeah, Chicken Lady. We went. We spent 8 nights on it, and that was enough for me. I was ready to come home. You know, I enjoyed it, but I was ready to come home. I couldn't. There's no way I could spend. No, I couldn't do it. And like they went through Drake's Passage. I don't know if any of y'all know what that is. It's in between South America and Antarctica. And yeah, I couldn't do it. But the 8 nights I spent on the boat was with Royal Caribbean. I loved it so much. Mhm. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm scrolling all over the place and just some things I wanted to share. Hello, MJ. I've never seen you before. Welcome. Sunshine. No, I ain't got to the clown part. I don't even know if I'm gonna get to the clown part. You know, sometimes shit ain't even worth it. Let clowns be clowns. Francis Drake, Drake Passage. It's here, let me show you. I like showing stuff. It's like the roughest part of the sea ever.
Have you thought about a cruise to Antarctica, but always wondered what the notorious Drake Passage was really like? Here's what we dealt with on a crossing during one of our cruises. This is some raw footage showing you some of the public areas and a look at what we saw from our cabin, where we had to stay secluded for almost 2 days while waves that reached more than 40 feet high tossed us around. Enjoy.
Regular dish. Another reason why? Why? Because regular plate like that, yeah, with a curry and your clothes.
Oh, that was a really good one. Yeah.
Now, could y'all imagine being on a cruise ship through this? Look at that. And it takes 2 days to get through it if you're, like, doing that, because they were going from, South America to Antarctica. Look at them waves, and that's out in the middle of the ocean. Because it's such an open part of the ocean, there's, like, no land to slow it down, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's crazy. But, yeah, the World Cruise went through this twice. It was wild to watch. They were live streaming it and stuff. It's pretty interesting. Look at them waves hitting this boat, and, I couldn't have done that. See, MJ, I'm terrified of boats and water and stuff too, but I did go on that cruise, but not the cruise where it's got that water. Yeah, I like my feet on the land too. Like, I don't get out in water. I can't touch the bottom. With that boat, I was scared to death, and it was my honeymoon, and I don't regret it. I love it. I got to swim with dolphins. That was like on my bucket list since I was a little girl. I got to do that. And we cruised the Caribbean. We went to the Virgin Islands and the Bahamas, and yeah, I loved it. And we didn't have bad weather and stuff like some of them, thank God. But it was amazing. Sorry, y'all, I'm smoking a joint and I just got ashes everywhere. Yeah, I would love to cruise Alaska. Allie actually went to Alaska last year. You went on to Mexico. That's cool. You went on a cruise, Sunshine? Oh wow, chicken leg. That's cool. My stepdad that raised me, kinda he was in the army, and his brother was also in the army at the same time, you know, and you can't have 2 brothers in active duty or whatever. So they stationed my stepdad in Alaska. He lived up there for 2 years. That was pretty cool. You've been on a cruise. Aren't they awesome, Sunshine? I've only been on one. What, cruise line and ship did you go on? I was on, Royal Caribbean, Freedom of the Seas. We done the Caribbean cruise. I went to the British Virgin Islands, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Bahamas, or somewhere else. I had so much fun. I like to visit Alaska. I couldn't live there. I could not live there. Okay, up next, East Palestine, Ohio. Y'all know the train derailment. I covered that. I haven't really covered much on it since, but there's some things I want to cover with our piece of shit president. And then this little article here. Oh, Norwegian, that's cool. I would never go on a Carnival cruise. No, because did you see recently a Carnival cruise line ship like toward the bottom? I don't know, they hit the port or something. I was like, no, fuck that. That's like the knockoff. That's like Great Value brand to me. I like Royal Caribbean, but that's the only one I've been on, you know. I would go again on them.
Still have no real answers. What's going to happen in 5 years, 10 years? I don't know that anybody knows. We just trying to survive.
Trying to survive. And that is how a lot of folks in East Palestine, Ohio feel 1 year after the toxic train derailment and disaster there. On Friday of this week, President Biden will be visiting that community for the first time since the derailment, more than a year later. The White House said this about the visit, that the president will discuss his commitment to ensuring the people of East Palestine are not defined by this single event, and that his administration is delivering on the needs of families, businesses, and affected residents. One of those affected residents is joining us now, Jamie Wallace. She had to move out of her East Palestine home after it became contaminated by dangerous chemicals. And I had my eye on you in the monitor here in the studio as I read the president's statement, or the White House's statement, Jamie, and I could see you shaking your head. What are your expectations for this visit Friday?
I mean, to me, from the press release, it sounds like he will be talking at us and not to us. You know, our needs have not been met as residents. So, you know, if he's coming just for a photo op, that's really disappointing. We need to see action. It's been a year. We've shown all the issues. They're playing politics with our children's lives. And I'm just praying that this is not just another stunt to show that they're doing something when they're not.
So if you had a moment with the president, what would you say to him in terms of specific action you all and others would like to see?
Yeah, you know, first of all, I would just try to appeal to him as a human. You know, I cannot believe that in the United States of America, if people knew how we were suffering, children with bloody noses, you know, that they would want something done. So, you know, as the president, you know, we need to have indoor air testing. We need to have health care for life. We deserve to, you know, have this federal funds available to us through this emergency declaration. So we've been waiting for a year. The time was then, the time is now, and he needs to come in and take action.
This has been such a year, a nightmare year for you. At what point, Jamie, did you decide to move from your home because of what you were dealing with?
I never really got to make that decision. On February 14th of last year, after the derailment happened, the lead toxicologist for CTEH, which is the railroad's testing company, found a pathway to vapor intrusion in my basement. However, they still refuse to test indoor air. Now I live in East Liverpool, Ohio, but all I want is my life back, my hometown back, my sense of security back. And I won't stop until I know every child in East Palestine is being tucked into a safe bed at night.
What will it take to rebuild trust for you?
Oh, wow. I don't know that the EPA can ever rebuild trust, to be quite honest. They broke my trust to the level of my child's life. They told us it was safe to go home. Had I not raised my voice and thrown a fit, my daughter could have been in that home and she could not be with us right now. At this point, what we need are independent testers that are chosen by the community. That trust has been lost. It's continued to be lost. The talking in circles, different EPA agents saying different things. We need independent testers at this point.
Wow. And how about your health, Jamie, and that of your kids? What have you guys been experiencing?
We had upper respiratory infections, allegedly, right after the derailment. She's not been back in town since the night of the derailment, but it's still concerning when you ask your pediatrician, like, is there something that I can start testing my child for now that may help her long-term, health and being able to track her health? And they flat out say, we don't know. We're not toxicologists. They put this clinic in East Palestine, but they didn't employ a toxicologist. So we still don't have answers. We still don't have doctors in the area that can give answers. I'll tell you, my mother has been very sick since returning back to her house in November. And all her doctor can tell her is get out of East Palestine.
Right. And then what do you do with your home if you choose to move?
Right.
What then?
And people don't want to know or move. I'm sorry. People don't want to move. They want to know if it's safe to stay. A lot of these homes are multi-generational. Other people just can't afford it. I mean, if you had to pick up and move right now and replace all of your furniture, including your beds, anything that's fabric, your couch, your bedding, your clothes, who really has the money to do that in this economy?
Right. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your
It's crazy, ain't it? Like, nobody's gave a fuck about this town. And Biden, a year later, has finally mentioned it. And see here. I got more on it. Okay, here's one more here. It is crazy. A year later, Trump went there when it happened and took water and stuff. Everybody's like, oh, water. Well, water is very important in a situation like that,
White House dodged a question about the possibility of President Biden drinking the water in East Palestine during his upcoming visit. Watch this.
When the president is in East Palestine, will he drink the water there?
I mean, look, what I can tell you is the president's focus has been to do everything that he can to support this community from day one. This is not about some sort of political stunt here. This is not what this is about. This is about this president being a president for everyone and showing up for this community. That's what this is about. I'm not going to get into some sort of political stunts.
Showed up fucking a year later. I can't stand this bitch. I can't stand to hear her talk. I don't. showed up a year later. Trump showed up a year ago and wasn't even president then.
About drinking water.
All right, East Palestine resident DJ Oakley joins me now. DJ, will Biden be welcomed by the residents?
I can't imagine it's going to be good. I mean, I have a pretty good pulse on the town, but I can't imagine at this point, this juncture, that it is going to be a positive welcome. There's going to be a lot of questions, and I'm just going to guess that there's not going to be a whole lot of answers to those questions, just as there hasn't been for the last year.
Why do you think he's going now, a year after the event, in the middle of a campaign season? What's he going for?
You know what? The more I think about this, this isn't about the people of East Palestine and the surrounding areas. This is about Joe Biden. This is about his election campaign in 2024. And quite honestly, you know, to go off of that clip that you just played, I don't care if he drinks our water, but as long as he and his team know that we're not drinking the Kool-Aid that he's serving coming to his little birthday party here.
That's a good line. The EPA, let's go back to the beginning of this. The EPA burned off the chemicals from the train. They wanted to avoid an explosion. So now, a year later, are you satisfied with the air and water quality?
You know, there's a lot of people in town. Speaking for myself, we haven't had any problems. My family, God willing, has not been sick and hopefully will not get sick. But it doesn't answer the questions that a lot of people have had about healthcare over the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years and generations to come. You know, we've lost a lot of people in our town, Stuart, to moving because they didn't feel safe, because they weren't getting answers. And I think that's the big to do about this. This is the storyline, is we're not getting answers. We can't make, you know, tough decisions that are going to affect generations to come. But the White House is going to tell us that they've been alongside of us the entire time, and it's just not true.
I believe you run Your Sports Network. That's your company, I believe. How's your business doing?
You know, we had to move out.
Okay, I don't care about somebody's business. That's not what we're doing here. Hold on just a second. And then there's more. Just a second. Okay, here we go. This is the last one on this I'm going to play here, but then we're going to go to something else because I've got a few things going. I know it's horrible, Running Bear. It is. And it's still, motherfuckers.
One year too late, President Biden is finally traveling to East Palestine, Ohio this week, 1 year after a Norfolk Southern train derailed there, spilling a slew of hazardous chemicals into the surrounding environment. The White House said this weekend that the president will travel there to ensure that state and local officials hold Norfolk Southern accountable. East Palestine residents are still feeling the effects of the contamination 1 year after the spill.
News Nation reporter Evan Lambert has been awarded more than $80,000 to settle a lawsuit over his arrest in East Palestine at a news conference last year. So obviously, we've said for a while that he should have visited, and he really missed an opportunity when Trump did travel there and Biden chose not to. And in some way, Republicans were able to claim this as their issue, even though Trump's own policies were more railroad friendly than he was letting out to be.
Yes, and in fact, kind of deregulatory moves that happened during the Trump administration, as Oliver covered, have a arguably close causal relationship to the kind of brakes not being installed on the train that would have averted this kind of a tragedy, and on and on and on. So I don't think there's really any winners here, but Trump was able to claim the victory by at least showing up and making the right motions with his mouth. Biden, though he was president at the time, declined to act in this way. It even took Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg a while to get there himself, and certainly it didn't cause the same kind of media hubbub as, you know, a popular former president showing up and kind of glad handing in the way that he is pretty good at, I will say, about Donald Trump. And so this raises some questions about why this is happening and why now, especially on the heels of what was one of Joe Biden's all-time worst media days last Friday, when he got hit with his news that the reason that he basically wasn't being asked to be accountable for the mishandling of classified documents was because he was seen to be
elderly
old and forgetful and not all there. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. And then in a press conference to remediate that perception, ended up making another gaffe, confusing one world leader for another.
Chicken Lady, didn't Biden go to Ukraine or somewhere when this happened? When Trump was in East Palestine, didn't Biden go? He went somewhere. He picked another country over us.
Another. Now, is this an attempt by the administration to say, hey, look, he can be out and about, he can do events, he can be out in the public, he can campaign, and is it going to work?
Yeah, I'm reading a lot more. We already talked today about the Biden age issues, but frankly, there's more to discuss. Even since we started talking today, more people have weighed in. I caught this article by Jonathan Chait, who writes for New York Magazine, who I do frankly like a lot of his takes. He's very much in the kind of anti-cancel culture, anti-wokeness stuff, but saying that, well, conceding like, well, even if Joe Biden's utterly, mentally incapable, is that so bad? Because he can have his advisors to make all his decisions. And like he even alludes to the Reagan issue where, people allege that Reagan was already suffering from Alzheimer's at the end of his term, but that shouldn't matter, I guess, which is, I don't think that
is that inspiring
particularly persuasive to
you?
anyone. I'm seeing this Politico article that says Democrats might need a plan B. Here's what it would look like, which does admit what I've said, which is that there can be no Biden replacement unless Biden himself agrees to it. He is going into the convention with the delegates. It's too late for anything to be done in terms of the process. So he would have to decide to step aside, and then there could actually be a showdown at the convention, likely involving Kamala Harris, who has said, Fox reports that she said in just recently in a Wall Street Journal interview that she is ready to serve if it's come to that. Of course, she is not the most popular political figure herself.
No, but you did see polls that showed that generic Democrat beat Donald Trump, and it was really Biden who had these unique vulnerabilities. Now, other people's unique vulnerabilities emerged the second that they're the ones in the hot seats. So I wouldn't, be overly confident about Kamala Harris. But honestly, at this point, given Biden's unfavorables and frankly, just the reality of how unable he seems to present himself to the public, it seems like there's frankly upside even to having Kamala Harris there instead. We talked in an earlier segment about how few interviews Joe Biden has done as compared to Donald Trump or Barack Obama in their presidencies. And it's hard to imagine how he's going to get through this campaign season, not just advocating for himself, but presenting a vision of what the Democratic Party is supposed to stand for as its top spokesperson if he can't confidently get out in front of the cameras and make that pitch. I'm also curious as to whether or not some of the weird mixed messaging that's coming out around his handling of Israel-Gaza, which obviously has flagged him as well, is a result of him not really taking this issue by the reins. Progressives for months now have been pointing out other historical examples of the United States, or in one case, Thatcher basically picking up the phone and saying, you've got to stop Israel when there have been excessive civilian casualties as a consequence of one or another of their bombardments. And people have been asking the question, well, why isn't Joe Biden doing something? Why is he just floating these statements that say, hey, I don't like what Putin is doing. Oh, Biden used the F word in response to Putin behind closed doors. Oh, it sounds like he's really unhappy. Why is that all we're getting from him instead of getting this moment we're all imagining, which has happened in the historical record of the American president picking up the phone and saying, no, you have to stop now. Well, maybe it is not this ideological issue the way that many of us have presumed, or maybe it's a mix of it being an ideological commitment that he has to Israel being able to do whatever it wants, but also not having the wherewithal and the confidence and the strength and the cognitive and analytical ability to really make that argument and to stand up to Netanyahu.
Yeah, that's what people are going to be wondering. I saw some people were circulating on social media this Time magazine cover from 1996 when Bob Dole was a Republican candidate that said, like, the cover says, is he too old to be president? He was 73 at the time. Biden's 81.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, Reagan was 73 when he ran for his second term. That was considered, that was an open question. Now, obviously, Trump, 77. So again, it's a lot of older figures.
But I also do think it's not just age, right? It's not like Bernie Sanders is not fumbling all over the place as he's doing late night hits as he's been doing all this week. You know, Nancy Pelosi and
Chuck Grassley is 800 years old, and I haven't seen him.
Exactly, there are people who I do not like, to be clear, like Nancy Pelosi, whose politics are not my own, who I'm not going to make the case that they're too old to be president. I have substantive arguments as to why Nancy Pelosi shouldn't be president, but Joe Biden specifically, in a world of older people and a Congress filled with octogenarians, is not doing well.
I can't imagine him. I mean, assume we're going to have them still, right? The debates, the Trump-Biden debates. But if I were his handlers, I'd be terrified to let him on stage, just period. He can't get through these interviews. Which are not, sometimes these interviews aren't particularly adversarial. Sometimes the press is helping him because it's awkward. They want him to be able to finish his sentence and get his train back on thought. What happens when he's actually in an intensely adversarial environment with a moderator and with another candidate? It's becoming difficult to imagine him successfully doing that. Maybe it won't matter, but
yeah,
you're talking about, the risk in changing, but there's a risk at keeping him. That is a huge risk because he's losing in every swing state.
Exactly. And if democracy really is on the ballot, what are Democrats doing with this historically unpopular and worrisome choice?
Yeah. More Rising right after this. Good morning and welcome to Rising. We have a great post-Super Bowl show for you today. Congratulations, of course, to any Kansas City fans out there. We will be discussing the game a little bit later. Did you watch any of it?
I did. I watched all of it.
Me too.
It was interesting. We'll get into this a little bit later, but there were a lot of events happening last night. The timeline was very mixed in terms of content from the game and content from world events, which we'll be covering later. But it was, satisfying to see on some level the outcome that a lot of the country were rooting for reasons outside of football kind of come to fruition. It started a little slow, but it ended up being a good game, a kind of a historical overtime match. But first, let's get into some meat and potatoes of the real news cycle. Now, concerns about President Biden's age continue to dominate headlines as voters are increasingly unsure he's got the mental acuity to do the job. The Hill reported on a new poll showing more than 85% of Americans think Biden is too old, following a bruising report by special counsel Bob Hur. In his report, Hur exonerated Biden of any wrongdoing when it came to mishandling classified documents, but alleged that Biden was an elderly man with a poor memory and thus was unable to recall a number of facts from his past, including those surrounding his son's death. The White House responded to Hur's report with a media blitz designed to allay fears surrounding Biden's age alongside attacks on Hur himself. Axios reports that Biden officials, led by Vice President Kamala Harris, questioned Hur's motives, echoing Biden's anger that Hur's zinger about Biden's memory overshadowed Hur's decision not to charge the president over his handling of classified documents. Some Democrats took the report from Hur as a wake-up call that voters are deeply concerned with Biden's age. Failed 2016 presidential nominee Hillary Clinton even conducted an interview with MSNBC where she called the president's age a, quote, legitimate issue.
Meanwhile, many conservatives began to question the seeming hypocrisy on the part of the mainstream media surrounding how the story of Biden's mental health travails and Trump's alleged issues. Trump's son, Don Jr., responded to a headline from the New York Times urging caution in diagnosing memory loss. Don Jr. wrote, quote, lol, now the New York Times wants you to be very careful about diagnosing mental decline. Never stopped him before. What changed? The diagnosis at this point is irrelevant because it doesn't take a doctor to understand Joe Biden's sharp decline. We see it before our eyes every day. And frankly, that would be my answer to Democratic frustration over what Hur said in his statement. Look, we're seeing press conferences, interviews with Joe Biden every day where he says the wrong name. He names people who have been dead for decades. When he lost his train of thought during that answer about Hamas and the potential ceasefire agreement, he told the media actually had to help him out there. Reporters had to remind him what he was talking about. We're seeing more of that day to day. So it's not really, they're acting like Hur was injecting this idea into the mainstream discourse, but talk to anyone out there in the real world and they have grave concerns about Biden's age.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I think that there is an argument, and Democrats maybe have a right to be frustrated about the extent to which Hur in this report seemed to go out of his way to say that Biden was mentally failing in these very specific ways. That being said, I do agree with you that we didn't need this report for confirmation. I will say that this seems to have unlocked something within Democratic pundits and politicians alike who seem to have been suppressing their desire to talk about the obvious ever since 2020, to be frank. And now after the news cycle of Friday, which was really disastrous from Biden, it seems like the dogs have been unleashed. So just to really recap, what happened was after this report, there was, of course, a media cycle about how, oh my gosh, the whole reason that Biden is not really being held accountable for this document he's handling is because he's perceived to be just genuinely forgetful and not have the mental competency. He followed up with a press conference that was supposed to allay people's fears, that was supposed to say, hey, look, guys, I'm good, I'm competent, I can do this job. And in that press conference, he mixed up the president of Egypt and the president of Mexico. So in the press conference that he was supposed to be righting the ship, he doubled down on the exact kind of gaffe that he's been getting in trouble for for weeks, back to back weeks in news cycles now. And so I think that now we have pundits, talking heads all over the liberal channels talking about, is it going to be Kamala Harris? Are they going to replace him at the convention? Even Hillary Clinton talking about how this is a legitimate concern for the voting public, and not raising speculation about whether Hillary Clinton is going to throw her hat in the ring again.
I looked at the polling again. 2/3 of Americans think Biden's age is a significant issue, including a majority of Democrats. It's like a slim majority. It's like 55%. So of course it's an issue. I mean, she has to say it. She has to acknowledge that it's an issue. The question becomes, are they going to do anything about it? And I frankly don't think they will, because they is Joe Biden on some level. I've said this before. There's not really anyone who can force him from the throne unless he agrees to go. And I've seen no indication. I mean, honestly, if we knew it was going to start getting this bad so quickly, he should have declined. He should have said, I'm not going to seek another term. And, you know, he can throw his weight behind Kamala Harris if he wants, or they can have an actual contest to determine whether it be her or someone else. Yeah. But I think it's too late for that. And I don't think he has any indication.
Y'all, honestly, I believe the only reason Biden's trying to run again this time is to fucking because of Trump. He thinks he's going to beat Trump, and no. He wants
That he wants to do that.
Yeah, CNN did a story a couple of days ago analyzing the number of interviews done by recent presidents as a kind of indicator of how willing they've been to come before the public and how maybe concerned they are or not about their ability to come off well in front of the public. So Obama, by this point in his presidency, had done 422 interviews. Trump, by this point in his presidency, had done 300 interviews. Biden, at this point in his presidency, has done 83 interviews, orders of magnitude less than these other two most.
If I was his handlers, I'd be afraid to put him in front of a camera as well, because he can't get through basic, easy interviews. He in that press conference you're referring to on Friday, he had I think it was a response to Ducey. I think it was Ducey. It might have been another reporter where he got combative. And it was supposed to be like a, slamming the door shut on this question of my age. And he jumbled that. It didn't make sense what he was saying. It was so bad. Yeah, the cat's really out of the bag on this one.
And people who I think have been defending Biden through hell and high water. People like Bill Maher, who have been really consistent on Trump as a threat to democracy, and therefore we cannot abide any criticism of Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. In a recent segment, he was basically flipping the argument and basically sounding a lot like what Dean Phillips has been saying for a long time now, which is that if it is true that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, and Democrats think that if Donald Trump is going to be reelected, democracy in America as we know it is going to come to an end, then what is the wisdom of electing a candidate with historically high unfavorables who is in observable cognitive and physical decline, and not allowing there to be simply a process by which we could vet the American public, vet other candidates to see if the American public has an appetite for anybody in the alternative, really putting us in a position where it is frankly likely that Donald Trump will win.
Nate Silver made that exact point on Twitter. He said, you don't demonstrate your seriousness that Trump is an existential threat to democracy by going through the motions to renominate an 81-year-old with a 38% approval rating, who 75% of voters think is too old, without giving anyone a choice, because that's just how things are done.
Yeah, it's incredible. I will note also that we certainly have been ringing this alarm bell for a very long time on this show. We have consistently advocated for a primary process and have been unflinching and talking about these legitimate concerns about the president's kind of cognitive capacity long before it became socially acceptable to do so. And I can only think about what better position the Democrats would be in, although I don't really care about that, but better position democracy would be in if more journalists had not chosen until the house was falling down around them before they were willing to state the obvious and report on the obvious.
I think you're very right. More Rising right after this.
House Republicans are demanding that the Department of Justice hand over the transcripts of special counsel Robert Hur's interview with President.
All right. Yeah, he's an embarrassment of a president in so many ways. And oh, Trump's going to win, no doubt in my mind. He's going to win, and they know it, in my opinion. And I didn't like Trump at first. When he first got president, I was like, oh Lord, this moment, and then I started seeing little things he was doing, and he was keeping his word. And then when Biden got in, I really seen Trump he's a good president. And he's not even a politician, it's like, yeah, go Trump. Let's go Brandon. And yeah, it's wild when you see it, like I never got into politics. I didn't give a shit, you know what I mean? And then I don't know, just one day I gave a shit and I was like, what? Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to hang my clean clothes up I just washed. It was stolen, yes, and I agree. Um, I don't know. I guess I am a fanatic because I love me some Trump. I got a fish, my little beta fish, named after Trump. His name is Trumpy. And I've got that little fish spoiled rotten. But yeah, I used to not, but yeah, now, yeah. And he is an awesome president. Like he always says, it's not him they're trying to silence, it's us. You know what I mean? And he's the one in the way. And yeah, and oh, that would be interesting to hear. Yes, chicken lady, I remember us talking about that. Yes, we've talked about this before. See my brain? Yes, I remember that. Yeah, see? Yeah, my fish Trumpy, he's doing so good. I got him another new tank. I got him so spoiled. But I took his old tank and I made it a snail tank for all my snails. I had Trumpy and the snails together, which it wasn't a problem, but I want him to have his own space, and he would kind of bully the snails every now and then. Not bad, but I had a Cory albino fish, that cleans the tanks. Well, he killed it. His name was Joe. He killed Joe. And then that's how I got into snails, because he can't have nothing. Betas really are aggressive. It's crazy. I love him. I've never in my life loved a fish, and I'm fucking obsessed with this one. It's wild. It is wild. But he knows me, and I think he loves me. Sonia, hey, my love. How you doing, baby? Okay, that's all I really have on the East Palestine stuff here. What's up next here? Let's see. I want to do the church shooting, but I'm not going to do that tonight. Let's see. I wanted to do the Tucker Carlson and Putin thing, but there's too much on it too. Let's see. The border crisis. Let's start that. U.S. Army being deployed. That's what I want. I'm going to start there. You're going chicken shopping next week? You suck. I'm jealous. Couple new ducks. What's your favorite breed of chicken? Chicken lady. I want a Baney rooster. Is that a thing? Because people always used to say something about Baney roosters. When I was growing up, my uncle, they say, you look like a Baney rooster. They are a rooster, right? Because I want one. I can't wait until I can get me some chickens. I'm going to spoil them rotten just like Trumpy. Get them a decked out coop, maybe two. Get them. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. And I want them to lay eggs. I don't eat I don't eat brown eggs. I like white eggs. I know I'm a weirdo, but I'm going to take all the eggs and donate them to food pantries. And yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait. I have always wanted chickens and a rooster. I love you, Sonia. Oh, I bet they're cute. You gotta name one Cotton, chicken lady. A little sassy female. Name her Cotton. Or Booby. Or NK. No. Oh, you will? Oh, yay! That's awesome. I like that you let people do that. I can't wait for I'm gonna have them. I love animals. It's such an animal. I love them. I want to get a couple big dogs. You know, I got my little wiener dogs, but I want a couple beagle hounds. I love beagle hounds. My papa used to rabbit hunt, and he raised them. I love hound dogs. I guess. Prairie hen and clucks behind. No, that's fucking great. Does Sharon know that, chicken lady? Sorry, I got. That's fucking great. That's funny. That's a good one. Sorry, my washer's loud, y'all. I can't stand laundry to pile up, though. I do it like every fucking day. It drives me nuts in the house. You're going to have to tell her again. Here, let me get my phone. I'm going to screenshot that to her. She'll love it. That's great. That's fucking awesome. Yes, you can put your links in chat anytime of anything. Anybody can. Anybody wants anything dropped that we know too, mod, you can drop it for them. Sonia, why ain't you a mod? See, I don't use this. I used to be on the other channel, and everybody's a mod over there. So I'm having to keep adding mods here. Jay, my love. What's up, bro? How you doing? How's grandma? Sonia, type something. See if you're blue. I think it worked. Because I'm doing this. I'm folding clothes. I'm on my phone. Make sure I got you, love. Yeah, because y'all know I usually don't go live and don't use this channel, but I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna start doing it for like true crime and stuff or drama, because I want my other channel to be just for like summer and a few true crime things here and there. But Jay, okay, good. Here you go. I'll get ready to say, tell me how is our grandma doing? Oh, that's good news. Thank you for telling me. Give her hugs for me. What time is it there, Jay? Okay, good, Sonia. Okay, good, love. Just making sure. Me and Cher, everybody. Not everybody, though. Man, let me tell you something. Cher, somebody will come in there and they'll like kiss her ass for like 10 minutes and she'll mod them. Don't even know who in the fuck they are. I'm like, what the hell? I'd get on her all the time for that. 'Cause some of 'em, I made her take a wrench the other day, you know, because, you know, me and Cher both, we don't mind to share links, you know, to people's channels and stuff. Well, there was one that was few days, you know, really promoting her channel. Didn't like drop no links for share, nothing. It was just, hey, I need this. Come on, sub to me, get 1,000 subs and blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, fuck this man. And told Cher, I said, she's using you. Take that wrench. She took the wrench, and then yesterday, I think it was, she said, you're right. I said, I know. Voices by I got screenshot of that. That's funny. Jay, Chicken Lady, that's the name of her chickens. And she's gonna name one Cotton, I think. Or Cotton Eye Joe. I love it. Yeah, I can get wrenches taken on Cher's channel, and I can also have her give them, like Jay. I got a bunch of people a wrench over there, but yeah, she'll mod anybody, I swear. Where did you come from? Where did you go? What, the Cotton Eye Joe? You're welcome, Jay. For real, you're welcome. Oh, y'all watch that video Chicken Lady just posted. Here, we'll watch it here. Hold on, let me go up here to my. Hold on here. We're gonna watch this. Y'all sub up to Chicken Lady if you haven't. I love her.
Cluck Chicken Lady here. Another outfit, another chicken. Weekly update day. This is my Kira outfit from the Dark Crystal. Hopefully most of y'all know it. This is always a big hit at the Fairy Festival. I will say, my bad, I did not put the wig up as well as I should be putting wigs up. So it's a little thing. Now I will also say that this also has magnificent wings that go with it. I did not put the wings on. They are hard to get on. They're annoying to walk around with. They catch wind. It's a magnificent outfit when it's all put together perfect. So today it is going to be Voices Behind the Flock. Let's get ready to talk about her. She's a beauty. Okay, so Cluck Cluck. We got Voices Behind the Flock today. She was named after Voices Behind the Wall. I will put her link underneath. Now, she's a beauty, of course. Let's look at her wings. Now, she is an Easter egger, but she's one of those Easter eggers that is not going to have many markings. She's going to be a lot more just straight up red. She is grasping a hold of me. Now, I've mentioned in some of the previous videos, I'm unsure if she's going to be a rooster or a hen. She does have a pretty good comb on her, but her mom is Princess Leia. Princess Leia has a pretty good comb on her. So it could just be that she has a bigger comb. We are going to have to wait and see. Now, she is very protective. She's the first one to kind of run up to you if she thinks you're messing with them. So she is going, she definitely has that personality, but that doesn't always mean it's going to be a rooster, but it's definitely a personality that could mean it's going to be a rooster. We will be waiting and watching and seeing with him, her. But I do love voices. Me and her, we are, when she was little and before I brought her down here, she was my water pooper of this bunch. A lot of you know that whenever I have little bunches of the chicks in the basement, I usually have one chick that runs over and poops in the water as soon as I get it clean, and it drives me crazy because I'm constantly cleaning their water out, getting the poop out and all that stuff. She was that one. But now that she's outside, she's not having that problem. Oh, calm down. So, because she is an Easter egger, if it is a she will be laying pink eggs. Now, she's not a she when it fathers somebody. Her pink eggs will mix with whatever the hen is. Now, of course, I would like to get a lot more pink egg layers. I've only got a few right now. So, if she is a he, I will be putting it in with, she's got a few sisters and already and her mom. So when it comes time for me to want to hatch again, I will probably put it in with, I'm not going to put it in with his mom, that's sick. Brother and sister is okay for one generation. I think it's gross. I'm hoping to get, I do have some that are not related to it at all. So that's probably more likely what I will be doing. But I'm going to try to put all Easter eggers together. I've actually got a lot of olive eggers now, so I'm good on breeding them for a while. So let's see. She is just going to be gorgeous. She's still got some down. You see that dandelion effect I was telling y'all about. But she was the main culprit of getting out, or he. I'm just going to say she for now. She was the main culprit of getting out in the basement, which is why I said, these little chicks are moving out fast. She is just so soft right now, too. Her feathers are soft. When they get older, their feathers are still soft, but just not as soft. So, now she does have some white still on her chest, which makes me think her father is maybe one of my leghorns. Which will mean her eggs will be more pink, which will be super fun. I'm super excited about that. Because I've only got like 2, 3 pink egg layers, but one of my pink egg layers was mixed with brown, so it kind of looks more brown. So that will be fun. Just so y'all know, I think that there's a skunk somewhere around here. I just caught a whiff. Blech. Anyway, by the way, chickens get sprayed by skunks sometimes too. That is not fun. Oh, calm down. So she did a foul move yesterday on camera. She's just a pooper all around. All chickens are pooper. They all just poop everywhere. Poop, 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 poop. But she did a foul move on camera yesterday. I think y'all saw it. There we go. I just think their wings are beautiful. Now, I would say that her buddy is, she tends to kind of hang around Bart Hen a lot. So they might be buddies. I don't know. She kind of gets along with all of them. I wouldn't say she has a particular buddy. There are some in there like Cock and Bart Hen. Definitely they're buddies. But so she hangs around them too. I guess like I would say maybe they're real good friends. But she also just gets along with all of them. It's really funny to see how they kind of form their own cliques. But I would say that she's kind of in with all the cliques, which is neat. Kind of reminds me of me in high school. I was definitely part of the freak clique. I was part of the jock clique. I was always kind of sprite, so I was part of the smarty pants clique. That's kind of what I think she is. She'll probably get along with the old roosters immediately. Now, some of her sisters are Chicky Rex, Hen Lou, and I know you got another one, Mary Lopez. No, Yeah, Mary Lopez. There's another one. Oh, you have a brother. I know who it is. I don't like that brother. We won't say who it is because I don't want the person to know that I don't like their chicken. But but yeah, as a rooster, her brother is, I don't know. He's sort of a scaredy cat, which I don't mind because they're scared of me, but it's also not the characteristic you want in a rooster. I do not think if Voices does become a rooster, I do not think that he will be like that, because I still kind of think she's going to be a hen. I'm not seeing the spurs come up on her. I think she's just got a very pronounced comb, but she is a brave little hen, I tell you that. And she's definitely, even though I consider her kind of the butthole of the group, she's still one of my favorites. You know, I love a rebel, and she's definitely one of those. So we do see some black markings. I don't know if you can see the way the sun is positioned. She does have some black markings, but that's kind of, they'll disappear with time. So she's definitely a lot bigger than when y'all saw her last time. She's fidgety. Let's get a check at her chicken feet. We love the chicken feet, don't we? Okay.
Can y'all hear me? Sorry, my AirPod died. I had to change it out real quick. I love this so much. That's cool. Thank you for sharing that. Share your link again there, love. Y'all make sure you're subbed up to her. Okay, I'm gonna get over to this. Okay, good. Thank you, Random Bear Love. The border crisis I've been wanting to cover. Here we go. Let's see. Let me get set up.
Border shutdown and the clock is ticking in Texas. The Lone Star State has until midnight to stop blocking federal Border Patrol agents from accessing part of the southern border.
Recently, new footage of the U.S. Army being deployed in Texas has gone viral, capturing the attention of millions. This unprecedented event has sparked intense debates and raised questions about the state of national security and the ongoing issue of illegal immigration. In this video, we will delve into the details of this viral footage, exploring the reasons behind the deployment, the controversies surrounding it, and the implications it holds for the future. The origin. Over the past few years, the United States has witnessed a staggering increase in encounters with illegal immigrant border crossers. Since the beginning of the Biden administration in January 2021, the U.S. Border Patrol has reported over 6.3 million encounters, with nearly 4 million of those occurring in border sectors that are partly in Texas. These numbers are nothing short of alarming and have put immense pressure on the already strained resources of the Border Patrol. The strength of the U.S. labor market and the high demand for foreign labor have played a significant role in fueling this surge in illegal immigration. With historically low unemployment rates and near-record job openings, the United States has become an attractive destination for individuals seeking better economic opportunities. However, due to limited legal avenues for lower-skilled immigrants to enter the country, many migrants have resorted to illegal means of crossing the border. To address this escalating crisis, Texas Governor Greg Abbott took decisive action in March 2021 by initiating Operation Lone Star. This state-level initiative aimed to deploy the Texas National Guard, the Texas Department of Public Safety, DPS, and other law enforcement personnel to support border security efforts. The goal was to provide additional resources and workforce to assist the overwhelmed Border Patrol in managing the influx of illegal border crossers. However, tensions quickly arose between the Border Patrol and the Texas agencies involved in the operation. One particular point of contention was the placement of concertina wire by the Texas National Guard along the border near Eagle Pass. While the Texas National Guard believed that the wire would enhance border security, the Border Patrol expressed concerns about its impact on their ability to patrol the border effectively. Of particular concern was the wire's interference with their movement from the riverbank into the Rio Grande, where many migrants were crossing and where tragic drownings had occurred. The Texas National Guard and DPS occasionally cut the wire to assist migrants in danger or process them for removal or release. However, disagreements arose regarding when and how to cut the wire, leading to further tensions between the Border Patrol and the Texas agencies. These disputes highlighted the challenges of coordinating efforts between state and federal entities in addressing the complex issue of illegal immigration. In September 2020, 2023, the situation took a dramatic turn when the Border Patrol began cutting the concertina wire placed by the Texas National Guard in Eagle Pass. This action prompted the state of Texas to file a lawsuit in federal court seeking to halt the removal of the wire. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton filed an emergency motion for a temporary restraining order, which was granted on October 30th. However, the court ruled against Texas's request for a temporary injunction pending trial on November 29th. Undeterred, Texas appealed to the United States Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit, which granted an emergency stay on the district court's order. The court enjoined Border Patrol on December 19th to prevent further destruction of the concertina wire, except in cases of medical emergency. The legal battle continued to escalate, and on January 2nd, 2024, U.S. Solicitor General Elizabeth Prelogar filed an application to vacate the injunction pending appeal with the Supreme Court. This move signaled the gravity of the situation and the high stakes involved in the ongoing dispute between Texas and the federal government. As tensions mounted, the situation took an unexpected turn on January 10th, when the state of Texas seized Shelby Park, a park owned by the city of Eagle Pass that abuts the Rio Grande. The Texas National Guard swiftly built fencing around the park, effectively denying Border Patrol access to its facilities, including the crucial boat ramp. Governor Abbott justified this seizure by arguing that Texas needed to take decisive measures to deter and repel the record-high levels of illegal immigration invited by President Biden's open border policies. This bold move further heightened the already intense standoff between Texas and the federal government. The deployment of the U.S. Army in Texas is a direct response to the escalating crisis at the border, with the surge in illegal immigration and the ongoing disputes between Texas and the federal government. The need for enhanced border security has become paramount. The deployment of the U.S. Army aims to provide additional support and resources to address the challenges faced by the Border Patrol and to ensure the safety and security of the border region. One of the most contentious issues surrounding the deployment is the placement of concertina wire by the Texas National Guard along the border near Eagle Pass. While the Texas National Guard believed that the wire would enhance border security, the Border Patrol expressed concerns about its impact on their operations. The wire reduced their ability to move along the border, especially from the riverbank into the Rio Grande, where many migrants were crossing, and tragically, some were drowning. This disagreement over the use of concertina wire highlighted the challenges of coordinating efforts between state and federal entities in addressing the complex issue of illegal immigration. The dispute escalated when the Border Patrol began cutting the concertina wire placed by the Texas National Guard in September 2023. This action prompted the state of Texas to file a lawsuit in federal court seeking to halt the removal of the wire. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton filed an emergency motion for a temporary restraining order, which was granted on October 30th. However, the court ruled against Texas's request for a temporary injunction pending trial on November 29th. Undeterred, Texas appealed to the United States Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit, which granted an emergency stay on the district court's order. The court enjoined Border Patrol on December 19th to prevent further destruction of the concertina wire, except in cases of medical emergency. The legal battle continued to intensify, and on January 2nd, 2024, U.S. Solicitor General Elizabeth Prelogar filed an application to vacate the injunction pending appeal with the Supreme Court. This move signaled the gravity of the situation and the high stakes involved in the ongoing dispute between Texas and the federal government. However, the controversies did not end there. On January 10th, the situation took an unexpected turn when the state of Texas seized Shelby Park, a park owned by the city of Eagle Pass that abuts the Rio Grande. The Texas National Guard swiftly built fencing around the park, effectively denying Border Patrol access to its facilities, including the crucial boat ramp. Governor Abbott justified this seizure by arguing that Texas needed to take decisive measures to deter and repel the record-high levels of illegal immigration invited by President Biden's open border policies. Arguing that Texas needed to take decisive measures to deter and repel the record-high levels of illegal immigration invited by President Biden's open border policies. This bold move by Texas further escalated tensions between the state and the federal government. The seizure of Shelby Park and the denial of access to Border Patrol facilities raised questions about the limits of state authority and the balance of power between the state and federal government.
Texas military engineers spent the whole weekend installing hundreds of yards of razor wire in Shelby Park, city-owned property that the state of Texas recently seized control of and kicked the federal government out.
Critics argued that Texas was overstepping its boundaries and interfering with federal law enforcement efforts. Supporters of Texas, on the other hand, applauded the state's proactive stance in defending its borders and protecting its citizens. The legal battle reached a critical point when the Supreme Court vacated the Fifth Circuit's ruling that barred Border Patrol from removing wire and granted them access to all areas of the border on January 22nd. The Department of Homeland Security, DHS, requested Border Patrol's access to Shelby Park by January 26th, but Texas denied the request, arguing that it would transform the park into an unofficial and unlawful port of entry. Texas is set to argue its case in front of the Fifth Circuit on February 7th, and regardless of the ruling, another appeal is expected. The deployment of the U.S. Army in Texas sends a strong message about the seriousness of the illegal immigration issue and the need for enhanced border security. By involving the military, the state of Texas is signaling its determination to protect its borders and ensure the safety of its residents. This bold action has garnered support from 25 Republican governors who believe that Texas is being invaded by illegal immigrants, deadly drugs like fentanyl, and even terrorists. However, critics argue that the deployment of the U.S. Army blurs the line between military and civilian law enforcement, raising concerns about the militarization of the border. They argue that the use of military forces should be limited to national defense, and that law enforcement responsibilities should remain within the purview of civilian agencies. This debate raises important questions about the appropriate role of the military in addressing domestic issues and the potential erosion of civil liberties. The deployment also has significant implications for the broader immigration debate in the United States. It highlights the deep divisions and disagreements surrounding immigration policy, particularly regarding the balance between border security and humanitarian concerns. The surge in illegal immigration and the subsequent deployment of the U.S. Army have reignited the debate about the need for comprehensive immigration reform. Proponents of stricter immigration policies argue that the deployment is a necessary response to the failure of the federal government to secure the border effectively. They believe that stronger border security measures are essential to protect national security and prevent the entry of individuals with criminal intent. They argue that the deployment of the U.S. Army is a justified measure to address the immediate crisis and send a strong message to potential illegal immigrants. On the other hand, advocates for more lenient immigration policies argue that the deployment of the U.S. Army is an excessive and unnecessary response to a complex issue. They emphasize the importance of addressing the root causes of illegal immigration, such as economic disparities and violence in migrants' home countries. They argue that a comprehensive approach that includes pathways to legal immigration and addressing the underlying factors driving migration is necessary for a long-term solution. The deployment of the U.S. Army in Texas also raises questions about the balance of power between the state and federal government. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has invoked Article 1, Half 10, Clause 3 of the Constitution, claiming the state's right to defend and protect itself in the face of what he perceives as an invasion. This assertion of state authority challenges the federal government's role in immigration enforcement and highlights the ongoing tension between state sovereignty and federal control. Steps taken. In the face of a growing crisis at the Texas-Mexico border, Governor Greg Abbott wasted no time in taking action. From the moment he took office, he made it clear that addressing illegal immigration would be a top priority. Let's take a closer look at the initial steps Governor Abbott took to tackle this pressing issue. In his first press conference as governor, Governor Abbott declared a state of emergency at the border, highlighting the urgent need for immediate action. He emphasized that the federal government's failure to secure the border had put Texas at risk, and that it was time for the state to take matters into its own hands. True to his word, Governor Abbott wasted no time in signing 3 border-related bills into law. The first of these bills made illegally crossing the Texas-Mexico border a state crime. This groundbreaking legislation authorized police to arrest individuals they suspected of crossing the Rio Grande between ports of entry. It was a bold move that sent a clear message. Texas would not tolerate illegal immigration. Governor Abbott also allocated significant funds for the construction of border barriers. These physical barriers serve as a deterrent to those attempting to cross the border illegally. Construction workers were deployed to various locations along the 200-mile border, erecting steel bollard barriers in Starr, Cameron, Val Verde, and Webb counties. These barriers would make it more difficult for individuals to breach the border and enter Texas unlawfully. Governor Abbott recognized the need for increased law enforcement presence in areas that were magnets for undocumented immigrants. To address this, he allocated up to $40 million for state troopers to patrol Colony Ridge, a housing development near Houston. This move aimed to deter illegal crossings and ensure the safety and security of Texas residents. Governor Abbott did not shy away from placing blame on the Biden administration's immigration policies. He firmly stated that President Joe Biden's deliberate inaction had left Texas to fend for itself. Governor Abbott believed that it was the responsibility of the federal government to enforce immigration laws and protect the nation's borders. However, with the federal government failing to take decisive action, Governor Abbott knew that Texas had to step up. While Governor Abbott's actions received support from many Texans, they also faced criticism from immigrant rights organizations, Democrats, and former immigration judges. These critics argued that immigration enforcement was a federal responsibility and that the state laws were unconstitutional. However, Governor Abbott remained steadfast in his belief that Texas had the right and the duty to protect its borders and uphold the rule of law. Despite the controversy, Governor Abbott remained resolute in his commitment to reducing illegal immigration in Texas. He believed that enforcing the immigration laws already on the books was crucial to addressing the record-breaking level of illegal immigration in the country. With the signing of these border-related bills, the allocation of funds for border barriers, and increased law enforcement presence, Governor Abbott had set the stage for a comprehensive approach to tackling illegal immigration. Governor Greg Abbott's actions to address illegal immigration in Texas have had a significant impact, but the fight is far from over. In this section, we will explore the consequences of Governor Abbott's actions and the ongoing challenges faced in the battle against illegal immigration. One of the immediate impacts of Governor Abbott's actions was an increase in apprehensions at the border. With the allocation of funds for border barriers and the presence of state troopers, the number of individuals attempting to cross the border illegally decreased significantly. Border Patrol agents were able to focus their efforts on apprehending those who still attempted to enter Texas unlawfully. However, the decrease in illegal crossings also led to an increase in the number of individuals being detained. Migrant detention facilities became overcrowded, straining resources and raising concerns about the treatment of those in custody. Governor Abbott faced criticism for the conditions in these facilities, with some arguing that the state was not adequately prepared to handle the influx of detainees. Governor Abbott's actions also faced legal challenges. Immigrant rights organizations, Democrats, and former immigration judges continued to argue that immigration enforcement was a federal responsibility. They filed lawsuits challenging the constitutionality of the state, laws criminalizing border crossings, and the allocation of state funds for border barriers. These legal battles added another layer of complexity to the fight against illegal immigration. Governor Abbott remained undeterred by the legal challenges and continued to advocate for stronger immigration enforcement. He argued that the federal government's failure to secure the border had forced Texas to take action to protect its residents. Governor Abbott believed that the state had the right to defend itself and that the laws enacted were necessary to address the crisis at the border. Another ongoing challenge in the fight against illegal immigration was the cooperation of the Mexican government. While Governor Abbott's actions aimed to deter individuals from crossing the border, the Mexican government had to accept those who were deported from Texas. However, there were instances where the Mexican government refused to accept certain migrants, creating a potential roadblock in the enforcement of the state laws. To address this challenge, Governor Abbott engaged in discussions with federal officials, urging them to take a stronger stance on immigration enforcement. He called for increased cooperation between the state and federal governments to ensure that those who were deported were accepted by the Mexican government. Governor Abbott emphasized the need for a comprehensive approach to tackling illegal immigration, one that involved both state and federal authorities. Despite the ongoing challenges, Governor Abbott's commitment to reducing illegal immigration remained unwavering. Border Patrol agents continued to patrol the Rio Grande, working tirelessly to secure the border and prevent illegal crossings. Their dedication and vigilance played a crucial role in maintaining the progress made in reducing illegal immigration. Governor Abbott recognized that the fight against illegal immigration was not just about securing the border, but also about addressing the root causes of migration. He advocated for comprehensive immigration reform that would address the economic, social, and political factors driving individuals to leave their home countries in search of a better life. Governor Greg Abbott's actions to address illegal immigration in Texas have far-reaching implications that extend beyond the immediate impact. In this section, we will explore the broader implications of Governor Abbott's actions and the potential long-term effects on immigration policy in the state. Governor Greg Abbott's actions to address illegal immigration in Texas have far-reaching implications that extend beyond the immediate impact. In this section, we will explore the broader implications of Governor Abbott's actions and the potential long-term effects on immigration policy in the state. Governor Abbott's strong stance on illegal immigration has positioned Texas as a leader in the national conversation on immigration policy. His unwavering commitment to securing the border and enforcing immigration laws has resonated with many Texans who believe that the state has a responsibility to protect its residents and uphold the rule of law. The actions taken by Governor Abbott have sparked a broader debate on immigration policy in Texas and the United States as a whole. Supporters argue that his approach is necessary to address the record-breaking level of illegal immigration and protect national security. They believe that Texas has the right to take action when the federal government fails to do so. On the other hand, critics argue that Governor Abbott's actions undermine the principles of compassion and fairness in the immigration system. They believe that a comprehensive approach that addresses the root causes of migration and provides a pathway to legal status is necessary to address the complexities of the issue. Governor Abbott's actions have also put pressure on the federal government to take a stronger stance on immigration enforcement. His calls for increased cooperation and support from federal authorities have highlighted the need for a comprehensive approach that involves both state and federal resources. The potential long-term effects of Governor Abbott's actions on immigration policy in Texas are still unfolding. Some experts believe that the state's efforts to secure the border and enforce immigration laws could serve as a model for other states facing similar challenges. They argue that Texas has set a precedent for states to take a more active role in immigration enforcement. Governor Abbott's actions have also energized immigration advocacy groups who are pushing for comprehensive immigration reform at the federal level. They argue that there are better solutions than a patchwork of state laws and enforcement measures, and that a unified approach is needed to address the complexities of the issue. Biden vs. Governor Abbott. In the face of Governor Abbott's bold and controversial actions, President Joe Biden found himself in a precarious position. The escalating tensions between the federal government and the state of Texas demanded a swift and strategic response. Biden, aware of the criticism he faced from Abbott and Republican lawmakers over his handling of the border crisis, acknowledged the difficult challenge of fixing America's immigration system. However, he made it clear that he was ready to make massive changes to border policy as a bipartisan effort in the Senate was underway. In a carefully crafted statement, Biden expressed his concerns about the situation at the border and his commitment to finding a solution. He emphasized the need for comprehensive immigration reform and highlighted the importance of addressing the root causes of migration from Central America. While Biden's response was measured and focused on long-term solutions, it did little to appease Governor Abbott and his supporters. The battle between the two leaders intensified as Abbott accused Biden of violating his oath to execute immigration laws enacted by Congress faithfully. As the legal battles continued, calls for Texas to declare independence from the United States grew louder. Last December, the Texas Nationalist Movement, TNM, submitted a petition with over 139,000 signatures, pushing for an advisory referendum on Texas's independence. However, the petition was rejected by the Texas GOP, citing late submission and invalid signatures. The clash between Biden and Abbott over the border crisis has not only become a political battleground, but has also raised questions about the balance of power between the federal government and the states. The outcome of this battle will have far-reaching implications for immigration policy and the relationship between the federal government and individual states. The numbers and statistics surrounding the border crisis are nothing short of staggering. In the 2023 fiscal year, U.S. Border Patrol encountered a jaw-dropping 3.2 million individuals attempting to cross the border illegally. This includes apprehensions, inadmissibles, and expulsions. The sheer magnitude of this influx has put immense pressure on both the federal government and the state of Texas to find a resolution. These numbers paint a grim picture of the challenges faced at the U.S.-Mexico border. The surge of migrants has overwhelmed the existing infrastructure and resources, straining the capacity of Border Patrol agents and immigration facilities. The situation has reached a breaking point, with humanitarian concerns and national security implications at the forefront. The urgency for a resolution must be balanced. The lives of countless individuals are at stake as they risk their safety and well-being in pursuit of a better life. The border crisis has also sparked debates about national identity, immigration policy, and the responsibilities of the federal government versus the states. As the battle between President Biden and Governor Abbott rages on, the nation anxiously awaits a solution. Will they be able to find common ground and work towards a comprehensive immigration reform? Or will the tensions continue to escalate, further polarizing the issue? The battle between President Biden and Governor Abbott over the border crisis carries significant implications that extend beyond the immediate conflict. The calls for Texas to declare independence, known as Texit, have gained momentum, fueled by the belief that the federal government has failed to address the state's concerns and protect its borders. Last December, the Texas Nationalist Movement, TNM, submitted a petition with over 139,000 signatures, pushing for an advisory referendum on Texas's independence. While the petition was rejected by the Texas GOP due to late submission and invalid signatures, the movement has not lost its fervor. The idea of Texas breaking away from the United States raises questions about the balance of power between the federal government and the states. It challenges the notion of a unified nation and highlights the tensions that can arise when states feel their rights are being infringed upon. If Texas were to declare independence, it would have far-reaching consequences. It would not only impact the relationship between Texas and the rest of the country, but also raise questions about the fate of the US-Mexico border and the handling of immigration on a larger scale. The battle between Biden and Abbott has become a symbol of the broader debates surrounding immigration policy, state sovereignty, and the role of the federal government. It has ignited passionate discussions about the responsibilities and limitations of each level of governance. As the conflict continues to unfold, the nation watches with a mix of anticipation and concern. The outcome of this battle will shape the future of immigration policy and set a precedent for the relationship between the federal government and the states. Will President Biden and Governor Abbott find common ground and work towards a comprehensive solution? Or will the tensions escalate, further polarizing the issue? One thing is certain: the battle between Biden and Abbott is far from over. It represents a larger struggle for control, identity, and the pursuit of a better future. The eyes of the nation are fixed on this captivating saga, waiting to see how it unfolds.
Jay, I always agree with you. It's like you say what I think, and yeah, I agree. I'm gonna hop off here. It's been 2 hours. I should have my shit together more, but I'll probably go live tomorrow in the afternoon on more on the border crisis. I want to go live over the church shooting, and there's just a few other things. Thank everybody for being here. I love my little group. And always praying and thinking of your grandma Jay and you. Much love, bro, for real. And everybody else. And Cher will be live tomorrow night, so I won't be live tomorrow night, but I will go live probably during the day. Oh, you're more than welcome to come up, Jay, anytime. Anybody is. Especially you, though, Jay. You're our bro. Absolutely. I'll message you and let you know what time and stuff tomorrow. All right. Well, good night. I love you all. Thank you. And you appreciate it. You know, I like my politics and but yeah, we're going to end it with Little Summer and good night. Love you all.